Hey there, amazing listeners. Welcome to Family, Business, and Beyond. I'm Deborah Kane, and if you're a mom trying to juggle everything from diaper changes to business meetings, or someone just looking for a bit of joy and inspiration, you've found your new favorite podcast. Here, we talk about everything from launching your dream business to finding joys in family chaos, all while having a few laughs along the way. Each episode is packed with real stories, practical tips, lots of science, and a sprinkle of the unexpected to keep you hooked from start to finish. Ready to transform your life and have some fun? Let's get started. Hey guys. I am very excited to be here on the second episode of Family, Business, and Beyond. Today's going to be a short episode. It's just me, no interviews yet. I have a lot in store for you, so don't worry, a lot of great experts to interview. However, today I'm going to talk about Ikigai. If you've been on my website, which by the way is under construction right now, I'm revamping the whole thing just to put it on a new platform. But if as of yesterday, it was still up and running. So if you've been on my website, there is a Venn diagram of something called Ikigai. And it looks like this. I hope you can see this. It's a little bit faded out. Let me see if you can see this. Oh, let's see. I'm trying. Hold on with the background. Okay, the background's not letting you see it correctly. That's not good. Anyway, in S and it's backwards. Okay. I'll put it in the resources so you can actually see what it really looks like. So Ikigai is this cool Venn diagram. It's a lot more than just a diagram. I came across it 6 or maybe 7 years ago, maybe even longer. And to be honest, I liked what it said. It just has things like your Ikigai is supposed to be your passion. So it has things on it like what you love to do, what you're good at. It just all came together and the way it overlapped. And I just really liked it. And to be honest, I didn't research it, which is not like me. I research everything, but I just liked the way it looked and the wording that it had on it. I printed it, had it on my wall for a long time, and I do use it to refer to. However, I didn't research it until about maybe 3 years ago. And at that time, somebody had asked me a detailed question about it, and I didn't know the answer. So I researched it. And there is some history behind it, of course. I'm not going to get in deep into it because I do want to keep this a short episode. But so there are 10 rules to Ikigai. Ikigai is all about finding or rather following your passion. So I'm going to just read the list of the 10 items and then I'll talk about each one. They're really simple. Okay, so starting at number 1, it is stay active, take it slow, don't fill your stomach, surround yourself with good friends, get in shape, smile, reconnect with nature, give thanks, live in the moment. And the last one is follow your Ikigai. Okay, so let's talk about these one by one. As you can probably guess, they're going to be really simple things, but things that we don't always think about, we're not always aware of. So the first one, stay active. Actually, I only read the first part of that. It's stay active and don't retire. So when I say don't retire, some people will not like that idea. What do you mean? We've worked all our lives. In order to retire, we want to reward ourselves with retirement. You can do that. That's not what it means. If you have worked in a job all your life and you are looking forward to retirement, there is nothing wrong with that. However, when you do retire, if that's your path, the idea is to replace that job with something else. It doesn't have to be a 9 to 5 job. Replace it with something else that you love to do. Okay. That's the important part. If you love your job and you don't want to retire because you love going to work every day, you love what you're doing, go ahead and do that. You can do that as long as you're able to. But if you do retire, replace it with something that you love to do. Okay. So that could mean a part-time job, an actual part-time job, if you like doing that or need to for whatever reason. It could also be a hobby that you used to do that you have gone away from and you want to get back to. It could be a new hobby, which I'll talk about in a little bit because that will add to it. Whatever it is, you want to replace what you did with something else that brings you joy. Now, let me just explain this a little bit more because some people have said to me, when I retire, I want to live in a tropical place. I want to go to the beach or the pool every day. And I want to just relax in the sun and swim and have a pina colada or whatever. Okay. This is not a replacement for your your lifelong work. You can do that. I'm not telling you can do whatever you want, but to replace your uh, working mentality, it needs to be something that is challenging to you. It could be challenging because you are learning something new. It could be challenging because it's something that you consider hard. It could be challenging because you're stepping out of the box that you've put yourself in, but it does need to be challenging because when you're challenging yourself, you're growing. And if you've heard me talk about growth mindset before, I won't go deep into it, I promise, but you know how important it is. And if you haven't, then just keep listening because it'll come up again and again. Uh, so yeah, you want to keep learning your entire life. You're always learning. Your brain has the ability to learn as you get older. Was it easier as a kid? Yes, it was. All that neuroplasticity as kids have, but we still have neuroplasticity. Our brains are still restructuring as we learn new things. We just have to make sure that we are trying to learn new things because a lot of times we don't. Okay, so what can you do to stay active if you're going to retire? Because I think a lot of people are going to retire. Again, take up a new hobby, get back to an old hobby, whatever it is, make sure it's something that you love to do. You can volunteer, you can work part time, you can decide on gardening, you can decide on painting, you can read more books, whatever it is that brings you joy. That's what you want to replace your previous life with, okay, to your new life. Okay, we're going to move right on to number two, which is take it slow. I just want to preface this with saying if you are the type of person that does things in slow motion, maybe that's just your personality. Maybe you talk a little slower. And we're always saying, get to the, if you walk slowly, not because of disability, just because you're always in a lounging kind of mood, that's your personality. That's okay. But I'm not telling you necessarily to take it slower. I'm telling everybody else to take it just a little bit slower. That does not mean procrastinate. That does not mean put things off. It doesn't mean take an hour to do something that should take 10 minutes. Taking it slow just means slowing things down a little bit. And let's talk about this for a minute. When your kids are in school, they are constantly rushing from one subject to another. Doesn't matter how long the subject is. At the end, there's a rush to get to the next one. And it's pretty detrimental when the kids are little, by the way. Nothing against the teachers. They try their best, but they have to move on at certain points. And kids, young kids especially, are not always ready. It's the same as adults. But as adults, what's different is when we are young adults, young moms, young dads, whatever, or young professionals, we are rushing around our day all the time because we're busy. Busy. We have a lot of stuff on our to do list. We have to get this done and this done. We're always rushing. There's an old saying, I'm going to show my age here. An old saying, I don't know if people ever even say it anymore today, but I'm sure you've heard it haste makes waste. There has never been a truer statement. Okay. I still rush around from time to time because we're all busy. Sometimes I'm not a person that normally runs late, but occasionally I do. Or something happens to change a time and I'm like, oh no, I forgot this and I have to go back. When you are rushing, inevitably, what happens? When you're rushing, you inevitably do something wrong, drop something, make a mistake, forget something, mess something up. Something that happens when you are rushing, almost always. And what does that do? That haste makes waste because you have to then go back, clean it up, do it again, go back for what you forgot, fix what happened. That's what happens. Okay. So when we slow ourselves down, these things won't happen, at least not as much. So we will be more at peace with what we're doing. And that will lead us, by the way, into being more self aware, which comes in later down on the list. Okay. So I think we got it. Slow it down at least a little, not too much. Okay. Next on our list is don't fill your stomach. So am I telling you not to eat? Of course not. Everybody should eat nutritionally healthy foods best you can. And that depends on a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into nutrition for this. This is only about Ikigai. But when authors and interviewers, scientists have asked centenarians some of the things that benefit them, this is one of the things that came up on their list, high up on the list. This is number three. Okay. Don't fill your stomach. They said, and this I think is a great rule for everybody to go by, is to only eat 80% of what's on your plate. Now, I think we can all agree when you go out to a restaurant, your plate is almost always way too much, right? Even at home, we tend to fill our plates in different ways without thinking. We're not thinking of what we're doing most of the time, unless you're on a specific eating plan, right? So when you have things on your plate, you might not think you're piling on the pasta, but let's think about it. You have different things like, oh, I haven't had this kind of food in a while. So maybe you put an extra scoop because you haven't had it in a while. Or maybe you skipped a meal and you're just hungry. And so you're loading it on. Maybe something that you haven't had in a while, you know how that tastes and you know how good it is and you're waiting for it. It gets to be a little bit larger on your plate. What I'm saying is when you look at your plate, whoever filled it, whether it's the restaurant, a spouse, a friend, or yourself, look at your plate. You don't have to portion it off physically. Try to remember to leave 20% on your plate. It's not a lot. Okay. If you leave something on your plate, it's usually enough. And that really does help because in America, especially, we do overeat a lot. Um, so it's a nice tip to remember, and it's helpful for many people, especially helpful for the growing, how should I put it? Growing parents. I'm going to put it growing parents, because so often as parents, um, we're not mindful of what we're eating because we're feeding the kids. We're trying to eat while helping them. And sometimes they have, lots of times, most of the time, they have leftover foods. Does it always go into trash or does sometimes it go into your mouth? I know when I was a young mom, it used to go into my mouth. Not anymore, but it used to. So keep that in mind. And next on our list, we're on number four, is surround yourself with good friends. I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about this one. This is really important. There have been studies. Actually, I believe it's the 85-year study from Harvard that talked about the importance of having good friends around you, especially as you grow older. This is difficult for a lot of people. Some of us have a handful of friends or a couple of friends. That's great. Some of us surround ourselves with 12 friends, 15 friends. Okay, they're probably not all the best friends, but that's okay too. Whatever your life is like. There's a lot of us who, as we grow, start to lose friends. Life happens. Your good friends move to another state. You stay in touch for a while, then you don't. Sometimes, as you're growing, which is good, you grow apart, just like some merges do, unfortunately. You start to believe different things or you start to enjoy different things. It is super important to have really good friends around you at every stage of your life, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood to middle age to old age. Have good friends around you. Is that easier said than done? I'm going to say yes, it is. Much easier said than done. But there are ways to do this. Let's say if it's not a problem for you, great. Just nurture those friendships in honest ways. That just means be yourself and be a good friend. Help each other out. Be there for each other. If you have two or three people that you can count on, that when you pick up the phone and say, I need you to come, they're not going to ask why, what's going on. They're just going to come. If you have that in your life, you are better off than most. That's what we want to strive for. If you don't, okay, and there's truly not a lot of people around you that you feel are friends, here's a couple of steps you can do. First, I suggest trying to make it organic. The way to do that is go out into the world. It's just a numbers game. Go out into the world, meaning your neighborhood, your surroundings. Go out. Don't stay in your house. Okay. Out into the world. Even if you're a busy mom or dad or busy at work all day, then you come home. You're seeing only coworkers and home. That's not enough. Go out into the world, whether it's at nighttime, on the weekends, or anytime. Go out and meet people. You don't have to be that person, that creepy person who meets a stranger standing in line and tells you her life story. Don't do that. That's creepy. I don't like that. But you can be the person who's smiling, who is approachable because you have a smile on your face, who says hello, good morning, hi, how you doing? Who maybe standing in line does strike up a conversation, just a generic conversation. Oh, I've tried those beans before and they're really good, or whatever. Strike up a conversation. Not everybody that you talk to is going to become a friend. Of course not. But what happened? It's a numbers game. The more you're out there, the more likely you are to eventually meet somebody who you do hit it off with and you talk for long enough. Or maybe you meet the same time at a Starbucks or Dunkin' or wherever most days, and you're like, so you want to go for a walk? Let's take our coffee and go for a walk. Or if you're meeting in somewhere else, go for a coffee. Be safe, of course. Get yourself out there. But meet people. That's the best way and most important thing to do if that's out of the realm of possibility for whatever reason. There are other ways. There are networking groups that are not for business. Okay. You can go online. They are meetup groups. You can meet up for things like pickleball or coffee. You can meet online if you're not comfortable with local things yet. Meet online and talk over Zoom. Not ideal, but it's better than nothing. And eventually you will find people who are more local. More people will join and you can get to know them better. So find a way. Trust me when I tell you this is something worth the effort to do. Okay. Even if you just end up finding one really good friend, it's worth the effort. So do it. You will be happier for it. Science says so, so it must be true, right? You will be happier for it. Let's move on to number 5. Okay, number 5 is get in shape. Actually, number 5 in Ikigai says get in shape for your next birthday. And I think the reason they put it that way is to give you a goal without saying the word goal. A lot of people don't like the word goal, but getting in shape does not have to be about losing weight. It could be, doesn't have to be. All right. So if you want to get in shape, meaning be healthier, maybe you want to lose a few pounds, maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to be stronger. Okay. Listen, as women, we definitely need to build muscle more so as we get older. I think honestly, it's like in our 40s that we start to lose muscle. And then after 60, it goes way down. So you definitely want to be building muscle. And it's important to do that. So if even if you're an active person, go for a walk like me. I go for a walk almost every day. I do yoga and strength training every day. It's normal strength training, by the way, you don't want to do every day. You want to do every other or a couple times a week. I do a very light strength training that I could incorporate with my yoga. It's not important, but I'm just saying, get a coach, a fitness coach, even if it's only temporary, even if it's just for 1 month it's worth it to make sure you're doing everything to your ability that's best for you. So getting in shape is all about being healthy. And part of that is eating better, choose wisely. If you can, I'm not going to go deep into this. It's not what we're talking about, but the more processed foods you could stay away from, the better. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't realize that processed foods are almost all foods. It's true. If you shop around the perimeter of your grocery store, it's much better. Don't go up and down the aisles if you can help it, and stay away from anything that's sticking out. That's what stores do. They try and get you to buy stuff, but try and stay away from them. I know it's not easy. If you have a family, it's especially not easy. You're trying to feed these kids, and sometimes that's all they eat. Listen, do what you have to do to make it fit your lifestyle, like I always say. But as you're getting older, you definitely want to be more aware of what you're putting in your body. Hopefully, you're doing that as a younger age as well. That's another whole yeah, we'll get into that another time, I promise. Okay, next on the list is something I talked about for a second, I think, somewhere along the line, and it says smile. You don't realize, guys, how important it is to put a smile on your face. I know that it sounds like, oh, okay, I'll smile. What if I don't feel like smile? What if I'm in a bad mood? What if I don't know, I don't want to be fake? Well, it's not really being fake. Let's look at it this way. When you are walking through a crowd, if you take notice, okay, it's all about self awareness, which we're not talking about today. I'm big on. And if you're walking in a crowd or walk in a crowded room at a party or business event, whatever, there are certain people that, as you're looking around, you're scanning the room, certain people look more approachable than others. And it's usually because they have a smile on their face. It's really that simple. People who have a smile on their face look approachable, they look happier, they might not be. You ever notice when okay, let's be honest. We're having a hard day. Our kids just spilled something or threw a ball and knocked something over, and we just got through yelling, hopefully not too much, or cleaning up a mess, and the phone rings. We're like, we see who it is. Okay, it's your friend. Hey, how you doing? All of a sudden, a smile comes on your face. You were just in a really bad place, right? And a smile comes on your face. It's natural. Everybody does that, by the way. I've called people and they've answered in a way that you could tell they were in a bad place. But a lot of people still do it. So putting a smile on your face it's just a way that you can recognize that things are not all bad. You're telling yourself without even realizing, you're telling yourself, whatever's going on in my whatever day I'm having, it's not all bad. There are some things that are good. And we're not necessarily tricking our brain. Listen, you can't trick your brain. You know how I feel about positive um, talk is a good thing if it's reasonable. Okay. You can't look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am a beautiful, athletic Olympian when you're not, because your brain knows you're not, right? Your brain knows you're not. That's not going to happen. And you're not tricking anybody, including yourself. But you can slightly trick your brain a little bit by putting a smile on your face. It's not quite the same as if you really felt that smile. If you really felt happy, it's a little different. But just putting a smile on your face does tell your brain that something good is happening, something's better. Maybe it's not pure joy, but it's something good. So do it. I promise it's not fake. It's just, oh, it's another way to make you physically and emotionally feel better. And that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing. And on a side note of that, when you have a smile on your face, as I said, you look more approachable. People are going to say hi. You're going to say hi. You're going to meet other people. Maybe you'll meet another best friend or a new best friend. Okay. So smiling is good. It can never be wrong. Okay. Next, number 7 says reconnect with nature. Even if you've never connected with nature before, and I hope you have, you want to make sure you're putting out the effort to get out in nature. I don't care if you live in the country or in the city or somewhere in between, just get out in nature. It's super important. If you know me, you know how I feel about early morning sun, but we're not going to talk about that today. But that is a thing that is truly important for a lot of reasons. And it's very beneficial, especially as we get older. It does a lot. But just getting outside can put you in a good mood. Okay. It's like exercise. I forgot to mention this, but when you exercise, you are giving yourself more motivation. Okay. You're making yourself happier. Even if you don't like to exercise, it's impossible to have exercised and come away not feeling better, not feeling more motivated. Okay. It's the same with connecting with nature. When you go outside, and it'll be different for everybody, but when you go outside, you are in an environment that is not putting you in a box. You're not looking at the same walls. Okay. Even if you just take a walk around your block, through your neighborhood, in the park is great, down the street, I don't care if you're outside and you're seeing different things. You're seeing different people. You're seeing, hopefully, trees, flowers, birds, dogs. You could be seeing buildings, high buildings, low buildings. You might be seeing cars going by. What you're just viewing. It's very helpful, by the way, for your eyesight to view things at a distance. I'm not saying this scientific way, but to view things at a distance rather than close up, it's great for your eyesight as well. So do this, get out in nature. And if you feel like you live in the city in a high rise and there's nothing much around you, once you get out and start looking for things, you'll find them. There's always a park, number one. But if you're not close to a park, there's probably a pathway. There's a one of those wide dividers that have grass and a bench. There's always something. So I'm going to say one more thing about this, and that is nature. If you schedule your day so that you get out in nature early in the morning, okay? So all I'm going to say about the early morning sun, get out in nature as early in the morning as you possibly can. Go for a walk, whether it's in the park or your neighborhood, I don't care. But do this with no earbuds, nothing going on in your ears, no music, no chattering, by yourself. And here's what I want you to do. Just notice you're going to use your senses. I want you to be very super hyper aware of what around you, of what you see, hear, and feel. So obviously, you're going to see different things. As I said, tall buildings, short buildings, other people, maybe cars, uh, hopefully trees, birds. I don't know. You're going to see things that you just walk by and don't even realize. You're going to still see them. Okay. Mailboxes, bicycles on the road, whatever. You're going to see things. What are you going to hear? Same thing. You're going to be more aware of what you're hearing. You might hear people chattering going by you. You might hear kids playing in the distance. You might hear a dog bark. You might hear a car going by. You might hear your lucky bird singing. All these things that you can be more aware of when you're looking for them. And what do you feel? I actually do mean physical feel because we're talking about our senses. So you're walking. So you're feeling your feet walk on the pavement or grass, wherever you're walking. You're probably swinging your arms. If you're not, go ahead and swing them and you'll be feeling your arms swinging. You might be lucky enough to feel the wind on your face. Okay. Different sensations. Just keep looking for the things that you see, hear, and feel, and you'll find them. Keep looking for them and you'll find them. So I'm telling you this for a reason, because if you do this, and especially if you do it early in the morning, but any time is good, you now, my friend, have done what's called a walking meditation. It is a real life scientific fact. It is called a walking meditation, and it works just like any other meditation. If you go for a short walk, it's like maybe 2 miles. You probably can just do this and it will be fine. If you go for a little bit longer walk, let's say 3 or 4 miles, and you find that you're just being redundant, if you're going on a walk that's leading somewhere, you'll find other things to see and hear and feel. But if you are walking in a park and you're going on a path that just goes around and around, it might get redundant. So then you can turn your thoughts after you do the senses, turn them into a gratitude walk. That is leading us to number 8 on the list. We're already on number 8, which is to give thanks. And so now on your walk, you can be thinking of all the things you are grateful for. I just want to be clear. Make sure when you're doing gratitude, anything, gratitude walk, gratitude thinking, gratitude journal, okay, whatever you like to do for gratitude, make sure it's something that you really feel grateful for. For me, it doesn't work to say, I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful for my soft pillow. Am I grateful that I didn't die in my sleep? Yeah, I am. But that's not what's bringing me that feeling of gratefulness. Okay. So it feels silly to me. Now, if it feels right to you, then keep doing it. Just make sure it's something that you truly feel grateful for, that feeling of joy. For instance, when I walk out in the morning, whether I'm going to the park or just my backyard, I could have been having a horrible day inside and I walk outside and it literally brings a smile to my face because I happen to be a person who enjoys seeing cloud formations and the sun rays through the clouds. It literally brings me joy. I absolutely feel grateful for that. You may not. So Make it something that you truly feel grateful for. Okay, perfect. We're on number 9 already. Moving along. I told you it's going to be quick. Number 9 is to live in the moment. This speaks to me, to my heart, because I talk a lot about self awareness as living in the moment is sometimes harder than you think. We all have times when we need to do more than one thing. As women, some men too, but women happen to be especially good at multitasking, many of us anyway. And I'm not going to tell you not to ever multitask. I will say, if you could multitask less and less, you'll be better off because you'll be able to focus on what you're doing and you'll be living in the moment. Technically, living in the moment includes when you are eating your lunch, you're thinking about what you're eating. Do I always do that? I do not. But when I do get a chance to do that, it is really rewarding. Just try it sometime. It's rewarding to be that aware of your feelings, yourself, and your surroundings, even. So just give it a try. It's if you need help, by the way, with any of these things, then reach out to me because it doesn't cost anything. I'm not selling you anything. Do I do this as a living as a coach? Yes. Do I have courses and coaching that you can pay for? Yes. But I also have free things. I have free things on my website when it's back up. As I said, I'm revamping it. I also put out some free resources on the Facebook page. Uh, my 30-minute strategy call is always free for the first time. And on top of that, I have right now, and it won't be there for always, but for right now, I have a 15-minute chat. I think I called it Chat with Deb. It's always free. It's always free. Okay. As long as I can, as long as I have the time to do it, I will keep that free. Once I can't, it'll go away. But you could always do that. You can always reach out on Facebook and ask me questions, email, ask me. If you need help with any of these things, I'm more than willing to explain it more to you or send you some resources or whatever you need. Okay. So that's it, guys. The last one on the list is to follow your Ikigai. So let me explain that just a little bit more because following your Ikigai isn't just these 10 steps. These are the rules that they say to live by Ikigai, but following your Ikigai means following your passion. It's all about knowing what brings you joy and following that, searching for it, or doing things to lead you to that. Here's the thing. If you do not know what your passion is, or think that what your passion is out of reach, or if you think that you're too old and don't need a new passion, all of those statements are untrue. Okay. If you don't know your passion, that's okay. I can definitely help you figure that out. Um, it's important to know that a passion is not just a goal. Passion is something that you feel compelled to do, not a goal that you want to do, need to do, think you should do, but something that you just, no matter what you do in life, you come back to this. For instance, no matter what job I've had, part time, full time, work at home mom, work out of the home mom, ever job I have done, or volunteer work, by the way, that I have done, which is a lot over the years, has always evolved. If it didn't start, it always evolved into some kind of teaching. I'm a teacher at heart. I taught preschool. I taught CCD for over 20 years. Every time I volunteer, it's about within the schools, all the things that I do, I'm compelled to teach. I love to teach. I love to help. That truly is my passion. So whatever your passion is, you need to make sure it's a real passion. Make sure it's something that you can't live without. Even if you're doing nothing, you end up going on the computer and researching about it. Or even if you're doing nothing, you tend to read books about this certain subject or this area. Okay. So figure out what your passion is if you don't know. And if you do know, make sure you're still, no matter how old you are, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 60s or beyond, make sure you are still following that passion. There are many different ways to pursue your passion, and it doesn't have to be big and grand. It could be small. By the way, your passion can change That is perfectly okay. I don't know what your passion is, but whatever it is, be sure that it's something you're compelled to do and find a way to do it. That's it. If you need help, one more time, if you need help with any of this, reach out, reach out to me. The website, when it's back up, is DAK dash life.com. And before it's back up, you can reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, YouTube. I'm all over the place. So do that. You can put a comment into the podcast comment as well. And I will try to read as many as I possibly can. I'd be happy to help you. That's it for today, guys. I'm looking forward to our next time. I might have a surprise interview for you next time. I'm not sure if my guest interview will be next time or the time after that. But either way, I look forward to next time. So be looking for the information of what our next topic will be. Hopefully in the future, I will know my next topic to be able to tell you, but I'm not that organized yet. I'm not perfect. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. That's it, folks. Thanks for joining us on Family, Business, and Beyond. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Your support helps us reach more people and make a bigger impact. Remember to follow us on social media for more tips, insights, and behind-the-scenes content. And don't forget to check out our online courses and webinars to continue your journey of empowerment and growth. Stay inspired, cast aside the doubt, let your dreams shout. Until next time, keep embracing the joy within and pursuing your passions. This is Deborah Kane, signing off.